In your article, you wrote about a tactic called midday madness.
Yep.
What is
So
midday madness?
that's we talked about it a little bit in the last episode that during a full moon, elk are going to bed down earlier and they're going to stay in their bedding areas later into the evening. And during the middle of the day, they get restless. And so
Hmm.
during a full moon or a lot of nighttime brightness, you're going to get a little flurry of activity in the middle of the day. And, this second and third week, I teeter back and forth on which one's my favorite. And really the determining factor is the moon phase. So this
Okay.
second week, we're going from full moon at the beginning to about a half moon at the end of the week. So we're still going to
Hmm.
have relative nighttime brightness, which is going to allow the elk to be more active at night and in their beds a little bit longer during the day. So this week is, one of my primary tactics is going to be finding an elk between 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning and 2 in the afternoon that's vocal. And if I can find an elk in his bedding area during the second week that's vocal, he's not going to be tied into the cows. Cows are going to be bedded down. He's going to be bedded, maybe right in with them, maybe off by himself 100 yards. But he's not worried about another bull coming in and stealing a cow and breeding a cow.
Hmm.
He's going to get up and leave that herd to come and defend his area a lot more than he will in the fourth week. So during the second
Hmm.
week, that midday madness can be and it turns into just an intense madness when you get into a bedding area and this bull's got his cows, but he's not stuck on them, but he wants to protect them and he wants to protect that
Yeah.
area. He'll get aggressive and come to your calls 200, 300 yards away.
Your calls, as in bugles or cow calls?
So
Either.
either one can be good. And again, I start with the cow call. So I start with a couple
Good.
cow calls and listen, and he'll probably answer. If he answers 3 or 4 times and he isn't moving out of his bed, I'll escalate it from there. And but if
Okay.
he gets up and he's like, "Oh, another cow over there by herself. I'm going to go grab her." He might come in bugling, probably not aggressively, but just letting you know, "Hey, I'm coming." And I'm anticipating that you're going to be coming back with me. That can be effective. But if he just holds his ground and he's trying to call and say, "Hey, there's a group of cows up here, and you sound lonely, and you'd fit right in. A lot of similar personalities here, and a lot of familiar faces." The he's hoping this cow comes wandering in, and then when she doesn't after a couple times, and he's pleading with her, "Please just come up here. Don't make me come down there." And then you get aggressive and step on his toes with the challenge bugle. A lot of times you can just hear the air come out of the forest as they get up and plow down the hill to come into your setup.
Yeah.
So a couple things there.
Huh.
It's important. I just said plow down the hill. Middle of the
Hmm.
day, thermals are going to be coming up. He's probably not going to be
Yep.
coming down the hill to you. So
Yeah.
he's probably not going to turn and come up a hill either, though. That's the problem with calling
Hmm.
elk is if they are above you at any time, they have a visual advantage. If they're above you
Right.
during the middle of the day, they can smell you also. So being below the elk, especially in the middle of the day, is not a good idea.
Yeah.
But also being above the elk, they're at a physical disadvantage to come up the hill. Again, to a cow call, they might come slipping up the hill. But to a bugle, they're anticipating there's a 750, 800 pound animal that's pretty upset standing
Yeah.
above, and he's got the downhill momentum
Gravity.
on his side. And so he's going
Yeah.
to probably hold back at 60 or 70 yards and not come up that hill. So I like to get on the same level, same horizontal elevation level as the elk. Takes away their visual advantage of being above you, takes away their physical disadvantage of being below you. It really takes away the thermal advantage, but makes them feel like they have a chance to circle uphill just a little bit to gain a visual advantage and to gain the thermal advantage to be able to smell you. And so setting up on their level with the shooter up the hill on the upwind side, just it really increases the efficiency of that setup for a lot of reasons.
Yeah. Hmm. Well, I can vouch that that is one of your strategies because when we've hunted before and we hear a bull respond, I'm like, well, let's just go in there. And it might be a mile later before we we're only 100 yards closer, but we've traveled a mile. All and I'm finally I'm like, Corey, what the heck's going on here? Well, We don't want to be below them. We don't want to be above them. And so
And we got
you
to get the
that is
wind
how you
good.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
sometimes there's a direct route that goes 300 yards right to that bowl, but you're taking a risk with, a draw, a north face, anything that might change the thermals and just take your scent to him. And that's why he's bedded there. He's bedded in a
yeah,
place that gives him the most margin of error to be able to smell danger. And we have to
yeah,
be really careful, especially now that they aren't moving. We have that time. He's not
yeah,
moving and he's not going anywhere for 8 or 9 hours in that bedding area. We have the time to do it right. And so now we can use aggression to our benefit. We can use vocalization to initiate that challenge and that aggression, but we can also be patient and we can get the right setup so that we're more efficient.